What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Chris Jericho returning to WWE programming, the WWE's list of banned words, does Triple H want one more match, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we won't recap the show, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. And as always, we start off with the good, as number one, the return of the Rated R Superstar. The Rated R Superstar is back, and Edge cut another riveting promo on Smackdown explaining his actions of late, and making it clear that Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan will regret unleashing the monster within. Edge has been cutting great promos ever since his program with Roman Reigns began, which only has upped the ante on the build for the triple threat over Reigns' Universal Championship. As some fans may be upset that a 47-year-old semi-active superstar is getting a main event slot, but it's impossible to deny Edge has set SmackDown on fire. Number 2, the Cesaro swing. Speaking of badass build-ups, Cesaro vs Seth Rollins is another SmackDown sensation in terms of setting the stage for a showdown at the Showcase of the Immortals. Anyone familiar with both men's work knows that the two superstars will deliver in the ring, but far too many times the WWE throws together two wrestlers or teams with no build-up, which takes away from the match itself. There are always going to be fans who will enjoy a match for the competitor's technical skills, but the story behind a match is equally important, especially when a promoter wants to elevate a star. Last night's promo between Cesaro and Seth was everything needed to hype their match, as the ever-arrogant Rollins seems to be downplaying Cesaro's talents, something which could end up costing him a win at WrestleMania. Number 3, a good blend of wrestling and segments. While it goes without saying that last night's show featured a well-balanced blend of matches and segments, it bears mentioning because SmackDown has been doing this on a regular basis, something which Raw's writers need to learn from. It's Booking 101, feature good matches, strong interviews and angles as you build up superstars and storylines. Raw sometimes manages to do this, but it never does it on a consistent basis. Number 4, strong build for Mania. Last night's edition of the Blue Brand was another strong setup for WrestleMania as the WWE continued the slow burn between Big E and Apollo Crews, teased a major challenge for the Women's Tag Team Championship, tantalized fans with how Logan Paul figures into the Sami Zayn vs Kevin Owens match, and of course the continued hype for the Universal Championship triple threat. Number 5, a wild street fight. Last night's main event was another strong showing that lived up to the hype. While the WWE gives away too many gimmick matches on regular television, this one wasn't a watered-down version and provided lots of action to keep fans tuned in. Once more, Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso showed why they're two of the WWE's most versatile performers, blending brawling and wrestling into a wild street fight. Obviously, the match was meant to build up Edge vs Bryan vs Reigns, but they didn't gloss over the match to get the finish of Bryan showing why he's a threat to both Edge and Roman. But that was the good. What about the bad? As number 1, the Women's Tag Division discord. While it's hard to fault the WWE for building up 4 teams fighting for a shot for the Women's Tag Team Championship, the slapdash situation of all 4 teams more or less showing up and fighting it out shows how little thought has gone into the Women's Tag Division. Further proof is how the Tag Team Champions are consistently booked in singles matches, which only takes away opportunities for the singles performers in the Women's Division. They may have some of the best female wrestlers on its roster, but they're booked so badly that fans just don't care. Number 2, Nigerian drum match? Now, WrestleMania has featured some amazing stipulation matches, ranging from Money in the Bank ladder matches to Hell in a Cell matches. Unfortunately, the upcoming Nigerian drum match between Intercontinental Champion Big E and Apollo Crews looks to be one of the most ridiculous since WrestleMania 21's sumo match or WrestleMania 22's Playboy pillow fight. It's not helping matters that the Nigerian prince doesn't state what the rules for the match are. While it's probably for the best since it's likely to disappoint, it's another example of how even SmackDown is saddled with bad ideas from Mr. McMahon. And number 3, Jey vs Bryan Part 2000. As good as the Jey Uso vs Daniel Bryan street fight was last night, it's a sign there's still much work that needs to be done with Roman Reigns' tribal chief gimmick. Reigns desperately needs more wrestlers at his side if he wants to establish himself as a leader of a heel faction. Otherwise, fans are going to wonder what good it is being a chief with no tribe. As much as Jey Uso has improved, he's only one man, and continued losses to further Roman Reigns' feud will destroy the momentum he's enjoyed since aligning himself with the Universal Champion. It's a situation that needs to be remedied soon, and adding Jimmy Uso when he returns is only one step to solving the problem. Now, there was nothing downright ugly about last night's show, as Smackdown was another brilliant build-up for WrestleMania 37. While we miss Bayley and feel the build-up for Banks vs Belair has been lacking, the majority of the show was everything it should be, even featuring more build-up for Otis and Chad Gable's new team. But what did you guys think of Smackdown last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Chris Jericho returning to WWE programming. Now, has Chris Jericho returned to WWE? Are the WWE and AEW working together? Well, not quite, but the news of Chris Jericho appearing on the 11th April edition of the WWE Network's Broken Skull Sessions has the wrestling world abuzz at the idea of the major figure from AEW appearing on a WWE Network show. The WWE's Twitter account released a hype video of Le Champion and Stone Cold Steve Austin together along with the following message: "No fooling around here, you're gonna get it. Jericho joined Steve Austin on the next Broken Skull Sessions." Steve Austin spoke with Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso about how things got started, revealing Jericho contacted him following Austin's Broken Skull Sessions interview with The Undertaker. "We got to talking. I've always respected the hell out of his career, and I'm glad they're around. It gives the guys and girls in professional wrestling more places to work. I said I'd love to have you on the show, and he said he'd love to do it, so I checked with Vince McMahon about it." The Texas Rattlesnake double-checked with McMahon just to avoid any miscommunication, and the interview was set up after Tony Khan gave Jericho his approval. This isn't the first time an AEW star has appeared at a WWE function, as Billy Gunn appeared at the 2019 Hall of Fame ceremony when he and his fellow D-Generation X teammates were inducted. Naturally, fans are intrigued as to whether Jericho will discuss AEW and or why he left the WWE. We likely won't know until the interview airs, but Triple H says Jericho's appearance shouldn't surprise anyone, something he mentioned during his media call regarding NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. "We're open for business. I've said it a million times on things. Vince McMahon has been very open for business. What's best for business for WWE and open to working with whomever. People sometimes create their own situations in their head." Trips added, "I just heard it today, but it's not shocking to me in any shape or form. You can be sure many fans will tune in for this episode of Broken Skull Sessions." Next up, WWE Censors words for WrestleMania. As wrestling fans know, it's Vince McMahon's world and we're just living in it. At least that's how Vinnie Mac wishes things were. Hence his fondness for micromanaging every aspect of WWE. The latest example of his micromanagement is a list of banned words the WWE sent to its promotional partners for WrestleMania 37. According to Fightful Select, these words were considered off limits. Now, obviously I'm not going to mention all of them because they're going to get demonetized, but here's a list. Some of them are just outright weird. Diva, house show, DQ? You can't even say card? What? Some of these are just really weird. Next up, WWE superstars are furious. Now, Shelton Benjamin is furious with Vince McMahon for breaking up the Hurt Business, and he's not alone. The WWE's decision to break up the popular faction led to outrage by WWE fans and superstars alike. According to Fightful Select, there were efforts to reverse McMahon's misguided move, as sources indicate that both MVP and Lashley met with Vince McMahon about the idea, but the latter dug his heels in even more. While Vince McMahon couldn't care less, wrestlers are furious. Cedric Alexander tweeted, "It's 2019 all over again." Alexander's former Hurt Business partner added, "The events of this past week have been beyond infuriating, frustrating and disappointing, but sadly comes as no surprise." A Fightful Select noted that based on several wrestlers that we spoke to, the decision of McMahon's insistence to continue down that road was a blow to morale. Now, barring a turnaround by McMahon, it's uncertain what the future holds for the 45-year-old Benjamin and 31-year-old Alexander, two superstars who were underutilized prior to them joining the Hurt Business. And finally, does Triple H want one more match? And last but not least, Triple H is one of those veteran WWE superstars who seems primed for retirement from in-ring competition, but who hasn't quite hung up his boots. In fact, the Cerebral Assassin's surprise match against Randy Orton earlier this year on Raw had fans wondering if Helmsley might compete at WrestleMania 37. While that's unlikely to happen at this point, Triple H talked to the media about his in-ring career. "I'm at the point where to me, the in-ring stuff is bonus. It's funny, Ric Flair calls me all the time to tell me, you have to get back in the ring, you have to go to WrestleMania, you have to have that closure and do this, whatever, a retirement match. There's part of me that wants to do it, and then there's just a bigger part of me that says I'm so busy 24/7 that to even try and contemplate how to train in the way I would want to train and get in shape. And by shape, I don't mean look, in shape ring-wise, so you don't embarrass yourself once you get in there at 52. Now, should Triple H have a retirement match at Mania? Let us know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.